panelist, Ranjit ji. And Ranjit ji, as I know you, you have been looking at the dairy industry for last almost 1.5 decade with the lens of technology. And while doing so, you have already created a seamless dairy value chain using the technology. And I think almost 13 to 15% of total milk being procured in the organized sector is happening on your system. And you have seen, from all angles, the growth of farmers, the inclusion which is taking place, both financial and nutritional. I would just like to hear from you very shortly because almost the time is getting over and we have many questions from audience. So maybe I'll skip the second round of questions and directly come to the questions from the audience because that's very important. So maybe if suppose we can hear from you your journey, and maybe if you can stick your deliberation to 5 to 7 minutes only, please, Ranjit ji.
Sure. Yeah. Well, thank you, Kuldeep ji. So what we have attempted to do using technology is to sort of stitch together whatever the audience, the panelists have already spoken. Srivatsava ji spoke about nutrition, Pawan ji spoke about regulation of aflatoxin, and Sodhi ji spoke about GHG. So what we have tried to do is stitch all of what has been said together, which is basically use technology to solve for productivity, basically improve yield per animal, improve throughput per farm, solve for quality, and solve for traceability. And all the three are interlinked, right? And our definition of traceability is fairly broad. It's not only about which cow in which village gave milk. It's also more about what testing was done at each node of the supply chain. What kind of a carbon footprint measurement indicators can we provide so that the stakeholders know was it really produced in a carbon efficient manner. What are the quality metrics can be depicted along the supply chain so that people know that when someone says it's good or bad, how can you really look at it quantitatively rather than handle perceptions? Can we quantify what has been stated? So our focus has been to use technology to enable all of what I just said, and more importantly, can we incentivize farmers and the rest of the ecosystem to deliver better milk, going beyond the traditional fat SNF measurement. Can we dynamically maintain mapping of every animal, every farmer, every can of milk, every bulk milk cooler, and so on and so forth, so that along the traceability tree, consumer can get visibility at a layman level. We don't want to confuse the consumer with a lot of data that he's going to think it's complex, but in a layman language, can we communicate that it's actually reliable and it's a traceable nutrition? And what do farmers care for? As Sodhi ji said, can farmers monetize some of the extra steps that are taken in this direction, where consumer gets reliable, traceable nutrition? Coming to other tech interventions, it's very important, as Sodhi ji said, only once stomach is full, one can talk about sustainability. How do we ensure that the women farmers are gainfully employed on our platform? How do you ensure that the farmer payments happens on time in a transparent, trustworthy manner? How do we ensure that the middlemen cannot manipulate the systems and break the farmers' trust? It sort of helps in fostering transparency, trust, and consistency in the supply chain, which is a basic 101, which is as basic as making sure the farmers, the stomachs are full. Unless there's a transparent system through digitization, unless there's incentive for clean milk production, people will always try to game the system, right? So can digitization be used to ensure through direct farmer payments and various other mechanisms, people are adhering to the basic ethics in the supply chain? Ensuring that women farmers are actually trained to run the technology at these collection centers. It's not the men who should be running it. Can we women farmers run the various technology? Can these milk collection centers, can they also provide other services where the women can be trained? It could be cash withdrawal services. It could be giving other inputs to these farmers, because the farmers are not only looking at animals, they have other agri-produce. So can we use women farmers, train them to provide more inputs to to provide more services to the village where they're providing these services? Use the digital connect that we have with these farmers to help them opt in for various services that we provide. For example, recently we launched an heat index insurance, where if the heat wave, now it's a different scenario, there's a lot of rains everywhere, but when the heat wave picks up, can we insure the productivity loss because the heat wave is high and the animals produce less milk? So that, and when farmers need more credit or insurance, can we provide them rather than they're depending on the local money lenders for the credit? Use data about the farm management practices, milk production and pouring to help underwrite credit risk better. All in all, how do we double farmers' income so that the women who are responsible for majority of this dairy farming can help focus on improving milk production, can help improve the kids' education, and finally the family's nutrition. So how can digitization help in all of what I just mentioned? So I'll wrap it up there just from the paucity of time. Kuldeep ji.